Hi everyone. I'm excited to be here today to talk to you about some of the miracle stories that are happening right here in our own city, in our own state, every day. My name is Tony Kausha, and the title of our show is Tony's 50,000 Coincidence Miracles. Please note, this show is not about religion, and we're not trying to change anyone's religion, and we're not trying to get you to join any religion. It's just about miracle stories. I don't know of any religion on the planet that doesn't talk about miracles. That's why religions begin, because they have something that's telling them there's really a God. But we're not going to get into that. We're going to just talk about miracles and leave the decisions about all that up to you. So we don't care what religion you are. We just want to talk about miracles. If you are an atheist, I think you'll enjoy the program as well, although I can't guarantee you'll remain an atheist very long after you hear many convincing stories, coincidence kinds of stories about miracles. You can email me your own stories if you wish. We'll try to use all we can on the show. I can't guarantee we will, depending on volume and time, but you're welcome to send your stories on to us, and we will mention them when we can. You can send them to the following email address. But please notice that if we do use your story, we won't mention your name. We'll keep you anonymous. And we suggest that in your story, when you send it to us, don't use your correct name. That way anyone listening will not be able to figure out that it was you that sent the story in. The email address you can send your stories to is very easy to remember. It consists of 2 words and 3 numbers. The first word is Tony, spelled Tony, and the second word is and, spelled A-N-D, and the numbers are 777. So once again, the name is Tony and 777 at AOL.com. Well, let us begin. Our first coincidence miracle today is from a regular listener who's been listening to our shows for about 3 years now, and they are a regular contributor. They send us coincidence miracles on occasion. I'm delighted about this story. This woman has 3 sisters. There were four daughters in the family, so she has 3 sisters. She was inspired one day to pray to God and ask him which things to do when, going shopping, going to the YWCA, and she was going to be visiting a shut-in friend, a friend who was ill. So she asked God to inspire her on which things to do first, in what order, and she went off and did them. And the amazing thing that happened is because she went and did the 3 things in the order she was told, what happened was she met one of her sisters at each of the 3 things. So she has 3 sisters. She had 3 things to do. She asked God what to do in what order. She winds up seeing one of her sisters at each of the 3 places. And she explains to us that if she didn't go to do these 3 things in the exact order that she did, she would have missed one of her sisters because they arrived at different times. In other words, where they went first, they met a sister there, but if they went to that place as the 3rd place, the sister would have already been gone. So the whole message here is you ask God what to do. He inspires you like mental telepathy. You ask him questions, and he responds to you with inspirations, which are thoughts in your mind. He answers you with ideas. He's talking to your soul. So you don't hear a sound. Generally, you don't. Some saints did hear sounds, but most of the saints were getting interior locutions, interior messages, mental telepathy, because God is spirit, and the Bible tells us God is spirit, and we need to worship him as spirit. So this was a wonderful story because she asked God what to do. She did them in the right order, and she got to see her 3 sisters as convincing evidence that God was speaking to her. Our next coincidence miracle is a cute miracle. It's something that happened to me. I was shopping, and I went shopping, and I was pulling into a parking place, and I noticed the car in front of me. I was parking in one row, but there was a row in front of me. The license plate on the car in front of me said, "Wow, number 2, wow." That was the license plate. wow, number 2, wow. And another woman had pulled in next to me, so I got inspired to hand her a card about our book and our show. So I got out of the car, and she got out of her car, and I walked over, handed her a card, told her about, we have a radio show every Sunday morning, and she said, wow, wow. She said, it's really remarkable, and I'm laughing right now because the license plate in front of us said, wow, wow, and here she said, wow, wow, and she proceeded to tell me how she loves our show. It's done remarkable things for her. She has coincidence miracles every day, and I told her about the license plate and told her we just had another coincidence because you said, wow, wow, twice. So I hope you do things like this too. I hope you keep asking God what to do and trusting Him. And doing positive things like, greeting somebody, talking to somebody who's getting out of their car next to you, say hello, it's a nice day, tell them about our show. You'll be doing some good things, getting people to listen to our show and hear about miracles every week. So I encourage you to do things like that, and God will bless you because you'll be working for Him. As you tell people about miracles, that's going to help people think of God. You tell them about our radio show, it's going to help them hear about God and hear about miracles. We've had 3 years now of radio shows. We've got something like 600 or 700 miracles on the weekly shows now. And there's 100 miracles in each of the books that I wrote that are on our website. So let me give you the website again. You can Google our website and get all the free stuff that's on there. The website is wcatradio.com/miracles. Once again, W, which stands for worldwide, CAT stands for Catholic, so it's wcatradio.com/miracles/ one last time, wcatradio.com/miracles/. Our next coincidence miracle is from someone who tells us they went to church on Sunday. When they drove into the parking lot, there was a car going by that passed them, and it had a license plate with the letter G, G for God, and the letter G was there 4 times. So it's a license plate with 4 G's, capital G's, uppercase. And they took that to mean that God was, patting them on the back that they were going to Mass today. It was a coincidence miracle, perfect timing. And they said after Mass, they met a friend, an elderly lady who was having trouble with her iPhone. And so he spent about a half an hour with her after Mass, helping her to fix some problems on her iPhone. She was very grateful. He was very happy he could do it. He felt, I guess, self-actualized, that he did a good thing. And the whole kickoff for the whole thing is he sees the 4 G's as he's entering the church, which gave him a little clue that God was with him, which is always important to know. We have to keep reminding ourselves God is always with us, constantly. We need to do something to remind us. Otherwise, we could go through 10 years and never think of God at all. So do something in your day every day. Maybe talk to Him every time you're eating food. There's 3 meals a day, maybe a couple of snacks. That's 5 things you're eating during a day. So every time you eat something, talk to Him, ask Him to bless the food, and that way you'll remember God 5 times every time you're eating. Our next coincidence miracle is from another regular contributor to our show. We get letters from them often. She's a member of a prayer group of 3 women. Apparently they met in high school, and they're at retirement age now. And they have, ever since high school, been close friends, and they formed this 3 people that pray for things that come up, their families, etc. And so one of the things they did is they purchased a statue. They each have the same statue. It has 3 angels. It's a cluster of 3 angels, and that's to remind them about the 3 of them. They have it on their mantles or on their counters at home. So the statue of the 3 angels reminds them during the course of the month about them and their prayers. And every time somebody asks one of them to pray, they call the other 2, and that's why they're like prayer angels. The person who's making their contribution, who wrote to us today, was relocating, and in the process of relocating, they lost the statue. Somehow it just disappeared. It wasn't in the unpacking. And those of you who have moved know that you'll probably find it 5 years later somewhere that you'd never look, but she thinks it's lost, but it's probably packed in a box somewhere you'd never think of. But in any event, what happened was the week after she relocated, she was meeting with her two friends at a restaurant for breakfast. And so she went, and they knew that she had lost her statue. And both of the other two ladies had gone to a consignment shop before breakfast, and they told her that that consignment shop, just that day, that morning, they received a statue of 3 angels, just like the ones that they had for years. And so the two friends bought it for her. They purchased it. So they gave her this gift at breakfast. So it's a wonderful coincidence miracle that they went to breakfast, and on that particular exact morning, there's a statue in a consignment store nearby the restaurant, which they bought as a gift for their friend. Our next coincidence miracle is from a man who went shopping. He noticed when he pulled into the place he was going shopping, he was following a car with 3 sevens into the driveway. When he came out after shopping, he found a car with 3 8s on the license plate, the number 888. And if you read our books, you know that those are holy numbers. 3 sevens is the holiest number in history because it adds up to 21. And if you read in the book of wisdom in the Bible, especially the Jerusalem Bible, the book of wisdom, chapter 7, very interesting, chapter 7, there's 21 attributes of wisdom. So you'll find it in the book of wisdom, chapter 7. And in the Jerusalem Bible, there's a footnote that says there's 21 attributes listed above, and that's the most perfect number, 3 times 7. And as you know, I'm sure by now I've told you many times, Bethlehem, where Jesus was born, is also 777 meters above sea level. And Golgotha, where Jesus was crucified, is also 777 meters above sea level. And all of this means that God orchestrated things so that we would know that his son Jesus was born at 777 meters in Bethlehem, and he died at 777 meters at Golgotha, and that's the most perfect number. The Jews held it as the most holy number in history. Okay, so he saw 3 sevens as he was driving in. He sees the 3 8s when he comes out, and he tells us that he was inspired when he was inside. He was inspired to do something that was very uncomfortable for him, and I know what it feels like because I've had the same kind of an experience. But he was inspired to compliment a woman that he saw inside shopping and compliment her on her. She was very attractive, a good-looking woman, and he complimented her and said, God did a great job when he made you. And the woman burst into tears. And I share this with you because, and he's sharing it with us, because I've said in the past that it's a great thing to do. When you're shopping and you see people and there's something to compliment, like they've got beautiful children or they're dressed very well, very attractively dressed. I don't know, they're buying something that's very special. To pay compliments to people, because there's so many people who never get compliments. That's why it's a great thing to do, and that's why God inspires us to do it. A little recap for today. One woman met her 3 sisters on her trips because she asked God what to do. I was parking at the store. I saw plates with WOW, and a woman got out of her car and said, WOW. Another man saw 4-letter G's. The woman got her statue replenished, the 3 angels, and someone uncomfortable in this store was complimenting people. God bless you all. I'll talk to you next week.